It reads like a litany of the nation's most notorious criminals. The FBI's 10 Most Wanted list has chronicled America's infamous from James Earl Ray to Ted Bundy and the Centennial Park bomber. Today, it is populated with accused murderers, drug traffickers, and child pornographers.
Most of these folks have committed more than one crime, more than one very serious crime, rapes and murders. So these are very dangerous people.
The task of finding those fugitives falls to this man, Ron Hosko, the assistant director of the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division, who runs the 10 Most Wanted program. Almost 500 accused criminals have made the Most Wanted list in its 62-year history, and for most of them, that was the beginning of the end.
We've cleared 466 of those. Not all of those are by arrest. Some of those are already in custody. They've turned up dead. But 94% clearance rate is a tremendously successful program.
But it's the other 6% that keep Hosko and his agents up at night.
A wily fugitive who drops under the horizon can present a significant challenge to us.
And even amid the top 10 list's encyclopedia of criminality, the story of one particularly wily fugitive stands out. You might know him and not even realize it. Could live across town, down the block, or maybe even closer. And if you know where to find him, the FBI could make it worth your while. This fugitive's Catch Me If You Can story began on the kind of day that makes wintering in Phoenix look appealing. It was reporter Dave Sislak's beat.
It's a really quiet community, a low-crime area. And when it happened, and we heard it was Ahwatukee, it was pretty surprising.
What happened, what surprised and shocked everyone here, happened shortly after 10 a.m. on November 29, 2004, Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. An armored car made its way to the multiplex theater in the Ahwatukee Mall to pick up the holiday weekend box office. The driver pulled up in front of the AMC, and his partner, Robert Keith Palomares, walked quickly into the theater. Palomares picked up the holiday weekend cash from a manager, signed a receipt for the $56,000, and headed back out to the truck. Before the courier reached the safety of his fortified vehicle, 6 gunshots shattered the mall's morning quiet. The gunman snatched the money bag. A security camera captured a glimpse of him dropping the bag, then picking it up before he bolted into an alley. He jumped onto a bicycle and raced away, leaving Keith Palomares bleeding on the pavement. Witnesses reached for their cell phones.
911, what is your emergency? There was about 5 shots fired. It was quite a few shots that rang out. It sounded like one gun.
The armored truck's driver, who didn't see the shooting, called his office and, following policy, stayed inside the truck.
911, what is your emergency? My driver just called and said our guard is down. He's been shot, and he's been shot several times. Please get somebody there. 911, what is your emergency? Look, the officer is still moving. Okay. Ambulance here, fast. We'll get some help there, sir. Oh, this guy, oh, man, we got to get an ambulance here. He's dying.
When paramedics arrived moments later, they could do nothing for the man on the ground. Keith Palomares' life was cut short and his young wife widowed. His violent death confirmed his mother Lena's worst fears about her son's dangerous job.
I would just hope he would be so soon. This man taken my life, my heart, my joy, my reason of living, my son.
A time zone west in Coachella, California, Keith Palomares' brother Derek got a call at work from his grandmother.
She was just distraught on the phone, crying, hysterically crying.
She couldn't get it out.
Yeah, just came home, and in this very room that we're in right now, she told me that your brother was shot and killed.
Right in this kitchen where we're sitting.
I just fell to my knees. I could not even hold myself up.
Growing up, Derek idolized his older brother.
He taught me how to play baseball, charismatic, full of life, loving, caring, very protective.
The killing that shattered the Palomares family was also the beginning of an incredible manhunt.
We get the call of a shooting at the AMC theaters.
Veteran Phoenix homicide investigator Paul Dalton caught the case.
Our detectives went out there, and the FBI, and just started the investigation.
There was little for them to start with, despite a police rapid response that included helicopters, checkpoints, and dogs. More witnesses had heard than seen the shooting.
And I was about halfway back to my truck and the shots were fired.
The few eyewitnesses they could find described seeing a white or Hispanic man wearing a dark hoodie who rode away from the theater on a mountain bike.
He was like pedaling hard, like too hard just to begin to cross the street.
The killer who vanished on a bicycle now had the FBI on his trail because armored car theft is a federal offense. For Lance Lysing, the FBI's lead agent, this was more than just another robbery.
Desperation causes people to do crazy things. You could easily do that again.
People in Phoenix were horrified by the killing. Dave Sislak covered the story for the Arizona Republic.
This was a different kind of event where a guy who was simply trying to do his job was taken out for no reason. The community was upset and they wanted answers.
The FBI's search for those answers would put them on the trail of a most unlikely fugitive. A fugitive who agents would learn began life as that nice boy next door, an athlete, Eagle Scout, and religious missionary, but who grew up, they allege, to be a con man, gambler, and accused killer. A path that would one day put him on the FBI's most wanted list.